other one is our quiz. I hope you had already submitted. The deadline for that was Tuesday. Okay, so that's it. So those are the things that will be completed in your checklist of your requirements. So the quiz and the Bunsen burner. So this morning we are going to discuss chapter 3, which is about the bonding, the chemical bonds. Under these chemical bonds, okay, it has different topics. The first one is what is Lewis dot. That is what we are going to discuss this morning. So I hope everyone is already present. Let me admit first. Okay. So I'm going to unmute all of you first. So there are already 20 participants. Okay. So our first topic, as I have said, is about Lewis. But before that, let us have first the basic. Okay, let us have first the basic. Sa akin, napagipang. Okay, so our topic, as I have said, is about bonding, chemical bond. Okay, so if you talk about chemical bonding, it has something to do wherein atoms are being connected in order to form into a compound. So how it is being done? It is being done by means of a bonding. But there are basic theories, basic things that should be, basic concept that should be understood first before going to how these atoms interact to form into a compound. Okay, the first one is what is Lewis dot structure. So as you have seen already in your periodic table, which we had discussed in our lecture video last time, okay, that elements are being grouped into what? They are by group. So group 1A, group 2A, group 3A, so on and so forth. So that group there has something to do with the number of electrons, which is in the element. For instance, hydrogen. Hydrogen has how many atoms, atomic number, or how many electrons? There is one electron. That is why its electron configuration is 1s1. Okay, so that's it. So that S1 there, that one there, pertains to the electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, so all group 1A, meaning it has that what? One electron outside its atomic shell. Okay, so here it is. How are we going to write Lewis dot structure? So these are its basic forms. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is I will be sending to you a handout, okay, or a module. So aside from our lecture, aside from our lecture, there will be a module that will be sent to you. Okay, so, and of course, we had also already discussed. Number 2, you already know how to get the electronic configuration of every element. Then, after doing that, we will know how to have the Lewis structure. How? What does does it mean by valence electrons? So valence electrons are the electrons in the highest occupied energy level. As I have said, this valence electron is known as the electrons in the outermost shell. So you can tell that by means of knowing its group. So if it is group 1A, meaning there are how many electrons? Only one electrons in the outermost shell. If it is group 2A, meaning it has two electrons in the outermost shell. Okay. Actually, in order to come up with the so-called the bonding, okay, the formation of a compound, every electrons, no, every element should have that octet rule in a compound. What do you mean by octet? From the word 8. Okay. So, meaning that atom should have a full outer shell of only 8 electrons. Diba? In group 8A, they are known as noble gas. Okay. What is noble gas? Meaning these are inert, meaning they are not interactive. Okay. Why? Because they have a complete electrons in their outermost shell. That is why it's so-called octet rule. So what is needed is for atoms to form into a compound, it will either lose or gain electrons in their outermost shell. And it should come up with the 8 electrons in its outermost shell to make it stable. Okay. So let us move on to the next slide. So how are we going to have this Lewis dot structure? From the word dot, meaning it will be in a form of period. Okay, so a Lewis dot structure is a quick and easy diagram that shows the valence electron in an element, and this is known as Lewis structure, wherein the nucleus of the element is represented by its symbol. So the valence electrons are represented by dots. What is valence electron? This is the electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, so it should have what? In order for this to form into a compound, it needs to conform with the octet rule, meaning 8 electrons. Okay. So here is rule number 1. So no side can have more than 2 dots because each orbital can only hold 2 electrons. So meaning, how many electrons all in all? It has 8. No? So what happened is, it should be filled. Next one is 2 maximum in every dot. Okay. So, how many maximum? That is 8, but in every side, there should only a maximum of 2. Pila man naka-side tanan? There are 4 sides. So, times 2, there should be 8 dots or 8 electrons. Rule number 2, when filling the sides of the element symbol, each side gets 1 dot before doubling up, except hydrogen and helium. Because hydrogen, how many electrons? Only 1. So it has only 1 electron, 1 dot also. Helium, it will only have 2. Okay. So there is no doubling. How? Okay. For instance, across the period, for instance, lithium is group 1. So what does it mean by that? Meaning it has an outside electron of helium is, I think, 3. Okay, therefore, atomic number of lithium is 3. Therefore, that is 1s2, 2s1. Okay, meaning the outside electron is 2s1, 1 electron. For beryllium, it has 4. Therefore, that is 1s2, 2s2. So, outside electron for 2s2 is 2 electrons. For boron, the atomic number is 5. Therefore, what is it? That is 1s2, 2s2, then 3s1. Okay. No, 3p, no, 1s2, 2s2, 3p, 3, I think, like that. Okay, so the outside of that is 3 electrons, so on and so forth. As you can see here, neon belongs to group 8. Therefore, how many electrons? 8 electrons. And how many dots? 8 dots. For fluorine is a halogen and it belongs to group 7. Therefore, that is how many electrons? 7. Therefore, that is 7 dots. The electrons there represent the outermost shell. Okay, so for instance here, okay, your sodium, what is the atomic number of sodium? That is 11, isn't it? Okay, so its electronic configuration is, for a shortcut, that is noble gas Ne and 3s1, or that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. That sodium there has that 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, then followed by 3s1. So what is the outside electron? That is s1, meaning this is now our valence electron. Therefore, that will be represented by 1 dot. Okay, so here in the formation of the cations, what happened? No? So your sodium na ay sobra nga usa ka electron, di ba? That is sodium. In order to make this, no? In order to make this sodium stable, it needs to give out that 1 electron. So what happened? So your sodium will have how many? It loses 1 electron. Once it loses, it will have a positive charge ion. Okay, so therefore your Lewis dot diagram for sodium is Na1. What is Na1? Because its outermost shell is 1 electron. Okay, for magnesium belongs to group 2. Okay, so what does it mean by that? Therefore, your magnesium is having an atomic number of 12. Therefore, that is 1s2, 2s2, then 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Okay, to make it stable, that 2 electrons should be, what will happen? This should be lost, or that should be donated. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss in the chemical bonding. What is important is you will know how to come up with this Lewis structure. So here, for instance, chlorine belongs to group 7. So what will be its electronic structure? This is, I think, 30. Chlorine is 35, I think. Okay. Therefore, it belongs to group 7. What will be its Lewis dot here? Group 7, start with this portion here. It should be counterclockwise, not clockwise. Start with 1 dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like that, no? Then, balik dayon. There will be, depende sa inyo, pwede na siya asa. Basta, what is needed here is 7 electrons in the electron dot. What happened? So, in your chlorine, it needs 1 electron in order to have it into octet rule 8. So, kung sabay mahitabo, it needs to gain 1 electron. Therefore, your chlorine here, which has 7, needs one electron in order to conform with the so-called octet. So once it is added, what happened? It will be negative. So your chlorine here has a negative sign. Unya na na siya. What is needed is looking into the Lewis structure. So an example for this, you have calcium. Okay, so your calcium belongs to what group? So your calcium belongs to this one, having lost two original valence electron, so your calcium will have a positive 2, calcium positive 2. How about for oxygen? Your oxygen belongs to group 6, meaning how many electrons in the Lewis dot? There will be 6. And it needs 2 electrons to complete it. Okay? So that is it. So as a summary, Lewis electron dot diagram used that to represent the outermost shell electron or the valence electron around the atomic symbol. Lewis electron dot diagram for ions have less for cations or more for anions. So if it is cations, what will be its charge? It will be positive. For anions, what will be its charge? Negative. Okay. So this will be your assignment. Okay. Okay, let us proceed to the other one. Okay, I will stop sharing. Okay, so naabay question. Okay, unmute ta mo. Ay question? O mas proceed sa ta? Kanya na mo question. Mo proceed pa mi.
Proceed, sir.
Sa di magkuan sa ko mag screenshot sa mi. Para attendance. Sa attendance sa ta. Screenshot sa ko ha. Asa pag screenshot ani anak? Nakoy taga screenshot. Then we are running out of time, so you proceed to the next. Okay. Ayaw sa mughawa. I will ipakita sa inyo mga kagwapang nga mga noun. Kita sa inyo mga noun. Screenshot sa ta. I-open niyo mga video mga bata. Sus ka mga gwapa sa akong mga anak. Gwapa o gwapo man di ay ni. Hindi, pangliliw sana akong mga naong kay kitaan nila. Pila na mo kabuok? O sige lang, 24, problema na nas uban. Sige. O mo rin si Johan? Ha? Unsa man? 24 man ni nakabutalan ni. Sige lang, picture lang na. Lakoy taga picture. Kumana? You go to the next, the 9:15, so that we will continue. Na pa yung few minutes nga rest. Okay. Sige. Aron di maputol atong discussion. You leave now. And then ako ha?
Assignment, ma'am.
Unsa? Sige. Kisa man si Christian?
Yes, ma'am. I-upload ito niyo itong assignment, ma'am.
Ang katong karon? Kabla kay upload ko to. I-upload ko na akong video.
Okay, ma'am.
Sige.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sige. And data mo, atong na mo speakers na po, na? Ano ma-admit mo? Sige.
Okay.
I will end.